Today we are taking a look at Mirror by Sylvia Plath. So we always start off with something about the writer's life. So Sylvia was born on October in Newton, Massachusetts. She married Hughes on June 16, 1956. He was also a writer. And then she found out that he cheated on her. So she found out about his infidelity and they separated. Then she committed suicide February 11, 1963. Okay, Mirror. I am silver and exact. I have no preconceptions. Whatever you see, I swallow immediately, just as it is, unmisted by love or dislike. I'm not cruel, only truthful. The eye of a little god, four cornered. Most of the time, I meditate on the opposite wall. It's pink with speckles. I have looked at it so long, I think it's part of my heart, but it flickers. Faces and darkness separate us over and over. Now I am a lake. A woman bends over me, searching my riches for what she really is. Then she turns to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. She rewards me with tears and an agitation of hands. I am important to her. She comes and goes. Each morning it's her face that replaces the darkness. In me she has drowned a young girl, and in me an old woman rises towards her day after day like a terrible fish. Okay, so let's have a look at the writing style. It's written in first person. She's writing as if she's the mirror and as if she's the woman bending over the lake. She uses very simple sentences, trying to get a strong message across, not making it very complicated. She uses very few adjectives, so there's not a lot of descriptive words because she makes use of metaphors. It's two big metaphors that the whole poem is about. And she uses a lot of personification because she's comparing herself to non lively things. So there's a lot of personification because the mirror is the person and the lady at the lake is her person. Okay, so now let's have a look at the analysis. Okay, so first of all, she's comparing herself to a mirror, an inanimate object, so something that's not alive. Okay, so she says, what does a mirror do? It shows you only the truth. There's no misconception about it. And it's not really cruel, it's only truthful. And then she says it's omnivorous, so it swallows everything that it sees because everything you see into a mirror is part of the mirror, okay? It doesn't blur it, it doesn't make it misty or distort. Almost like people's lies, okay? When people tell you this, but they give their opinion or they say it's like this, and we can see maybe if we take into account that she was cheated on, a lot of lies or just telling half a truth, where a mirror never does any of that. Okay? It is godlike in its objectivity and incapable of emotional response. So that means it just says something as it is. There's nothing like, oh, shame, or oh, this poor guy, or maybe he didn't mean it, or maybe it was your fault. It was just, this is what it is, directly the way it is. Okay, most of the time it meditates on the opposite wall. What is meditate? Just standing there. So this is obviously the wall, just the mirror reflecting what's on the opposite wall. But this can also be the way she feels about her life, okay? She's mostly just seeing things, going through the same thing over and over again, and her life that's so part of her, like the wall that became part of the mirror. Okay, and then we're looking at the woman at the lake. So there's no disturbance. It's almost as if it's becoming a bit more peaceful. And then she says the woman bends over the lake like the mythical narcissus. So when we talk about a narcissist, it was the story that tells us about the guy who was so in love with himself. He kept looking over the mirror to see his own reflection and how beautiful he was. And he was just like, oh, I'm so beautiful, beautiful. And eventually he came so close to the water just looking at his beauty that he drowned. So this is the story they use, the myth about narcissists, and that's why they call someone a narcissist when they like themselves too much. So now it's like this woman bending over the lake like a narcissist. But unlike a narcissist, she doesn't fall in love with what she sees, okay? She sees a lot of heartache. So she sees this little girl that's been swallowed, and she sees some beautiful things, but also the liar is capable of lending untruthful shadows. So she sees a lot of things that really hurts her feelings. Okay, She's unhappy by what she sees, okay? She weeps and wrings her hands. So she talks about the little girl. We see her youth is gone. And in that times, it was very important for women to be beautiful. Okay, and then she sees she's aging, so it's terrifying to her. Okay, there we go. The narcissist story.